This is He Knows His Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. What I tell y'all, folks? What I say? I told y'all, man. You can't overlook and dodge opponents. Jermall Charlo. He has every right now, like I've been telling y'all, to legitimately say that he will give Canelo Alvarez mad fits. We saw this in the J-Rock and the Jarrett Hurd fight. This fight this weekend shows you guys Jermall Charlo has way more opportunities and way more chance to beat a Canelo Alvarez than what y'all think. And why fights are not as lopsided as you guys think. I think Jarrett Hurd needs to go ahead and activate the rematch clause, which I believe he did. He needs vindication. He needs to fight J-Rock again. This is the only fight that should be on his mind. Moving up to 160. I'm going to say that again. Moving up to 160. He better right the wrong in this fight, because he got exposed. He got demolished. And he got trounced. And the reason being is because he went into that fight overlooking his opponent. You don't do that in boxing. See, the great ones, they always tell the media when they're talking to the media, look, this is the guy that I'm facing. This is the guy that's in front of me, and I need to handle this business. Earl the True Spence understands that. Floyd Mayweather understood that. Terrence Crawford understands that. That's why these guys stay having the records that they have. Andre Ward understood that. You don't overlook your opponent. You fight the fighter that's in front of you. Canelo Alvarez understands that. The fighter that's in front of you, that's who you fight. But this fight right here proved my point. Why I told y'all Jermall Charlo is going to give Canelo Alvarez mad fits. Because of Jermall Charlo's length, his size. The fact that he keeps people at the end of his jab. And Canelo Alvarez is starting to age in dog years. He's damn near anywhere between 37 to 42 years old in a 28-year-old body. Because people forget he started boxing at 15 years old. So when he fought Floyd Mayweather, he was actually in his prime at 22 and 23. He didn't have those stamina and those conditioning issues at that time. He was just too slow. Those stamina and conditioning issues happen to fighters when they start to age, folks. Usually it happens to boxers in their 30s. But because Canelo Alvarez started earlier, the wear and tear affected him earlier. Boxing is a sport that takes a lot out of you. I don't care how great you are. Jermall Charlo is every bit the same age as Canelo Alvarez in human years. But in boxing years, shit, he's about 10 years younger than him. And I know that will be the difference in their fight. Again, this fight with Jarrett Hurd and J-Rock stunned everyone and put everyone back on notice that anyone can win in a fight if they come with the right game plan. They execute it, and if they are better conditioned. Now Canelo, more than ever, needs to make sure his condition is on point. Because I think even he saw that fight. And one of the reasons why Jarrett Hurd lost significantly is because of his conditioning. And we know Canelo Alvarez wanes after 7 rounds. So he's going to have to get that shit in order. I don't know how much he can do to improve that. Because like I said, he's aging. But he's going to have to get that shit in order. Because if he fights somebody like a Jermall Charlo that's going to come, we've seen Jermall Charlo fight. The man can go 12 rounds. Us in the boxing community, we need to call for this fight. This is the fight that we need to clamor for. Not Demetrius Andrade. I get it. Demetrius Andrade makes more sense because he has a legitimate belt. And it's a unification fight. But I keep telling y'all, Andrade is too goofy. And he hasn't fought in the bright lights. Not like Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo has fought harder fights at higher levels. Look at their record. You'll see what I'm talking about. He's the better opponent for Canelo Alvarez. He's the respectable opponent. And I bet you, guys like me and all these other guys out there, if Canelo Alvarez fights Jermall Charlo, he gets respect put on his name. Because now he has fought the hungriest and the hardest and the most competitive opponent at his weight class. Everyone knows it's Jermall Charlo because of what Jermall Charlo brings to the table. Canelo Alvarez is a very, very good boxer, but Jermall Charlo can expose him because Jermall Charlo is going to be the more athletic fighter. He's going to be the faster fighter that night. He's going to be the taller fighter that night, and he's not going to pull his punches, just like J-Rock didn't do with Jarrett Hurd. That's a classic example of how that fight could possibly go. Everyone was sitting there sleeping on J-Rock. Oh man, Jarrett Hurd just gonna steamroll J-Rock. Even I said that. And then what happened? J-Rock did what only a very few that were supporting him thought he would do. He outboxed Jarrett Hurd. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Jermall Charlo is in the J-Rock position. Canelo Alvarez is in the Jarrett Hurd position. I know people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Canelo Alvarez is not as defensively irresponsible as Jarrett Hurd. We're not talking about it from that standpoint. I'm talking about the comparison. One is a unified champion that everybody thinks is going to win. And one is another hungry fighter that everyone's sleeping on and overlooking. That's the comparison that I'm making. I'm telling y'all, man. If Jermall Charlo fights Canelo Alvarez is going to be in for a nightmare. Because there's no preparing for that animal. That dude's hungry. He wants that fight. I'm telling y'all, man. That fight's going to be a good one. We as a boxing community, we need to call for that shit. We need to clamor for that fight. We need to push for it. And for Jarrett Hurd, there ain't no moving to 160, bruh. You need vindication. I believe if Jarrett Hurd is focused, he doesn't have any distractions and goes back to the Jarrett Swift Hurd prior to when he won the belts, he's going to TKO Stoppage J-Rock. Because let me tell y'all something. I went back and looked at the fight. And when I saw, Jarrett Hurd has every bit of chance to win this fight in the rematch. Because look at the body language of the man after the fight. He didn't look like a guy that was defeated, that, oh, my boxing career is over. He looked emotional, like a guy that said, you know what? I'm going to own up to this loss, and I'm going to rededicate myself. And I believe he's going to come back hungrier and stronger than ever before. And he's going to use this loss as his forever boxing career lesson to never dodge an opponent. And I feel you're going to see a Jarrett Hurd that's going to come back and steamroll J-Rock. Because I'm not sold on J-Rock. Hats off to him. Great performance. But he's a very flawed fighter. And Jarrett Hurd, not at his best, conditioning-wise, was still able to touch him up. All you got to do is look at J-Rock's face. So imagine a focused Jarrett Hurd. Imagine what the outcome of that fight's going to be. Jarrett Hurd knows there's no other fight but this one. That's why he had to activate the rematch clause, folks. I'm telling y'all, when they fight again, which should be the next fight that they need to run back, Jarrett Hurd is going to TKO Stoppage J-Rock. This is He Knows His Sport. Check it out.